Welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a general mid-month reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon or Ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. There's a link down there that will help you. And then you can come back and watch your Moon and Ascendant sign videos, and it'll give you a better idea of what's going on with you overall. So, first off, thank you so much. I got up on Monday and not only had Mercury gone direct, which was awesome, lifted a big load off my shoulders, but I also discovered that I'd gone over 10,000 subscribers, and that's a huge milestone, just generally, but especially for me. And since I started the channel, it's been Taurus by far and away that has been my most staunch and loyal supporters. So I feel like you can take more of the credit for it than literally anyone else on the planet, and I thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, commented, liked the videos, shared the videos, reached out for personal readings, and I've met a lot of you now. Taurus has been Taurus, followed by weirdly Sagittarius, have been the sign that's been cropping up the most often in my personal readings, and all of those people who have donated to the channel as well. You keep everything running. And my primary motivation for getting on here, like I say in the description box, is because I wanted to help people, and I really wanted to create a community of kind of not only like-minded folk, but people who were really interested in self-improvement. And I've really got that sense from Taurus that that's what you're about. So thank you from the bottom of my lion heart to your Taurus bull heart. Love and appreciate every last one of you. So, just keep stop saying so. There's no need for it whatsoever. It's verbal padding, and I don't like that. Mercury has gone direct. That's awesome. We like that. We're still in the shadow period until the 29th of March, but then we're good. So that's fine up until June, when it happens again. And Pisces season is almost over. I think you have probably been all right a little bit, and the overthinking and stuff like that definitely kind of attributable to the Piscean energy. But you're a little less wounded by it than say the fire signs have been, or Aquarius or Gemini. So I hope that you've remained relatively unscathed. That is my hope for you. This is a mid-month reading, so it's only covering a 2-week period. Because it's a shorter period, I'm going to go for a shorter reading. Hopefully, I've already been burbling for 2.5 minutes, but the idea is that I'm going to pull 3 cards for your general energy here right now, where you're at. 3 cards for what's coming towards you, and then 3 cards of advice. And I hope that you're feeling a little better than you did last month, because you were struggling a little bit with the monthlies. So, a word again. 3 cards for Taurus, please. 3 cards for Taurus. 3 cards for Taurus. Right. I see. It do be like that. I got some fire going on here again. Down there. Stick it in there. So the first card that you've got is the 10 of Wands, and I am delighted to see that it's come out in reverse. Right? This way up, it talks about burden. It talks about working too hard. It talks about taking on too much, possibly, but suffering. Actually, whether it's through overwork or feeling emotionally burdened, you have to take it as it resonates to you. But this way around, it feels like you've broken the back of it. Whatever it is that you were struggling with, whatever it was you were suffering with, right? You've recognized that it was too hard, that it was burdensome, and that something needed to give. Some of these ones needed putting down. And so you got there, right? This is the end of a cycle. It's kind of hitting your limit. Here, you're dropping some of those ones and you're moving forwards. And that's wonderful, because I was a little bit concerned about you last month, thinking yourselves into holes and all that sort of thing. I'm utterly delighted to see this card followed up immediately by the 10 of Cups. It's another 10, right? feels like there's been a transmutation, all right? I think last month you were struggling with overthinking and things like that, and I think that it seems like the energy that you're sitting in at the moment is a recognition of where you were and what was going on with you. And what I feel from this Ten of Cups, more than, you know, complete emotional fulfillment, which is kind of like the tagline for this card, is a sense of gratitude. And I don't know where that's coming from, but gratitude for your place in the world and what you actually have. Because maybe you lost sight of that for a little while. You know, we haven't got the Five of Cups here or anything like that, but, or even, you know, the Four of Cups, but we do have the 10, and it's like flipping the energy on its head. You know, instead of focusing on the things that you haven't got and where things are hard and all that kind of thing, you kind of shifted your mindset. And we've got the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck there, and another 10. Interestingly, the card of Sagittarius also. But it's like you've almost put in as much energy into counting your blessings and looking at the things that are good in your life now as you were into overthinking the shit out of them last month, right? The Ten of Cups. Look. It was at the bottom of the deck. I just shuffled everything around and then it jumped out again, right? Oof, got some soulmate energy on the shadow card there, and the card that fell out was the Ace of Wands. So I feel like something has shifted, and it's shifted in your head, importantly, right? You've gone from this Ten of Wands energy, the Nine of Swords I think you had last month, like, is overthinking, being stuck, you know, falling into self-sabotage kind of territory, right? You flipped it. You flip the script entirely. And now you're looking at the things that you are grateful for, you know, the things that are going well in your life, the things that are, you know, giving you a sense of purpose and a sense of fulfillment just by being there, you know. And this Wheel of Fortune is part of it. Now, whether that is ushering in circumstances that are exciting for you, you know, whether part of your overthinking was to do with a soulmate, right? Maybe things weren't progressing the way that you'd hoped or something like that. Yeah. It seems like you're fixing the way that you think about the situation has actually shown you how blessed you actually are. And it's been a bit of a lesson for you. And the final card you've got for your energy is the Queen of Wands. And I really, really like this, right? Because it's not your queen, obviously, but it is the Fire Queen. I mean, I don't want to rope Sagittarius in too much or give Sagittarius too much credit for stuff. And just as an aside, like, Sagittarius has been all over everybody's signs readings this last month, I think, in the personal readings as well. It's just like they're kind of sorting themselves out and they're kicking out this really healing energy that all the other signs really, really need. And they're in a bit of a teaching moment for everyone. And it feels like you're taking some of that on board, because here you are demonstrating the energy of the Queen of Wands. Right? Now, all of the Wands suit is about living in the moment, right? It's kind of energy that irks earth signs somewhat, because there's not much foundational work goes into this, right? It's highly creative, it's very sparky, it's very spontaneous, you know, it's potentially combustible, you know. It's all of those things that kind of earth signs shy away from a little bit. But the fact remains that there is a lesson that you can learn from other elements. And maybe this is it. Maybe this is it for you. Because when you're stuck in an overthinking frame of mind, when you don't trust yourself, when you don't trust your intuition, when you don't trust, you know, yourself altogether, you're kind of anchored in the past. Right? Because you haven't released things, because you haven't let them go, you then project them into the future and you view everything that's going on in the present through that lens, right? That lens of fear and overthinking and worrying about repeating situations, you know, crappy things that have happened to you in the past, happening again, tainting new stuff. The Queen of Wands doesn't do that. she's here in the moment. She's right here, right now. She's living, you know, sometimes she's living life a little too large. But as a lesson, right, and as an energy to take on, it's really helpful for you because it's pulling you out of this need to, you know, plan into the future. She's pulling you out of this energy to overthink everything that's happened in the past and project it into the future. And she's calling you to be here and be present. And this is why, you know, these two are interlinked, right? The expression of gratitude, the understanding of what blessings do exist in your life is keeping you here, right? It's keeping you right here, right now, looking at your life and going, actually, do you know what? I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right for myself. And because this card has come up, I feel like there is that soulmate lesson that's being taught to you. You know, whether or not you're in a relationship with this person, there's something about the way that they live their life, possibly, that has helped you do that. But if there isn't a Sagittarian in your midst at all, then it's just this energy, right? And you're as subject to the collective as the rest of us. Yeah, I really like that though. It's good. It's a vast improvement to where you were last time we met. Anyway, I have 3 cards for what's coming towards Taurus, please, in the last 2 weeks. March. I'm just going to show you that was the Knight of Wands, but it didn't jump. It just kind of flipped. So. Coming towards Taurus. It's coming towards Taurus. It's coming towards Taurus. Wonderful. I love it. Oh, Taurus, this is excellent. I'm fucking loving this, right? On the bottom of the deck, we've got the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Pentacles, right? That's unstable energy of conflict and fear of abandonment, fear of loss, one of those things, right? They're there. Shadow cards for the reading. But it's followed by the Queen of Cups, and it feels like this is the energy that you settled, right? This is the things that you were overthinking the shit out of before, right? This is what the 10 of Wands indicates. But you flip that up, right? You got rid of these, and you are now in this energy, which is excellent, right? That's 2 queens you've got there. This is the here and now queen, and this is the emotionally open and receptive queen, balanced, you know, giving from a place of love, you know, experiencing the whole world from a place of love and appreciation and gratitude and all these things that they, you know, the Cups cards indicate. Well, what's coming towards you for the last couple of weeks, excuse me, of March, is exquisite. The first card is the Magician. The second card is the Knight of Pentacles. And the third card is the Fool, right? I might pull some clarifiers. We'll see how we go. Now, whether you realise it or not, what you've done in changing your perspective, what you've done in allowing gratitude to emanate from you is you've raised your vibration. Right? You've taken that negativity and that fear and that burden and that overthinking that you were suffering with, which is all pretty low vibrational stuff, Taurus, right? It is, right? And you've transmuted it into something. There's no accident that this is 2 10s, right? That 10 and that 10. You've put all of that energy into appreciating what you have. You've elevated your vibration, and you have put yourself into a position of being able to manifest really quite seriously, right? Because that's what the Magician is. It's a very powerful card because he uses all of the elements, right? And I think it's really interesting that you're sat in this Queen of Wands energy, and then here we've got a card of someone who uses all of the elements, right? Not just the one that he's familiar with, not just the one that he understands, but others, right? He sees the value in what the other signs and what the other elements can teach you about progression, about moving forwards. And you're doing it. He's got swords, he's got cups, he's got pentacles, and he's got wands. In fact, he's got a wand in his hand, right? And he's effectively limitless on account of it. I'll just pull one clarifier. about the Magician. 9 of Cups, right? You're getting really clear about what it is that you want. 2 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. It's a card of relationships. Right? The thing with the 9 of Cups, I've been thinking about this quite a lot recently, is that for me, it doesn't just talk about wish fulfillment, right? It talks about knowing exactly what you want. And I think when you overthink things and when you're coming from a place of fear and you've experienced difficult situations, what you end up with is a list this big of all the things that you don't want, right? I don't want a partner who ignores me. I don't want a partner who does this. Don't want a partner who does that, the other, you know. I don't want X, Y, Z, even, you know, completely unrelated to personal relationships here. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want that. The list ends up being like this. It takes a level of self-awareness and confidence in yourself to start curating a list that contains the things that you do want, right? It's a very different energy. And that for me is exactly what the 9 of Cups talks about. These 2 cards together, wow, right? This is you getting extremely fucking clear about what it is that you want. Extremely clear about what your wish fulfillment looks like to you. And it's not a list this big of things, of absences of things, right? It is very clearly, I want this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. And putting yourself in a state where you can actually bring that to you. It's amazing. And then we have this 9 of Pentacles. Now, the 9 of Pentacles is a card of independence, yes, but it isn't always a card of being solo. And in fact, I'm seeing that less and less the more readings that I do. Right? It's another 9. 9s for me talk about the self, right? As a complete thing, the self. Whereas the 2s are the, you know, the inner world, and the 3s are the outer world, you know, kind of how you interact with the shit around you. The 9s is about you as a complete unit, right? Because this is the wish fulfillment card, yes. But the thing that always used to boggle me when I first started reading tarot was, why is it a 9? If it's wish fulfillment, why isn't it 10? Because what can be better than wish fulfillment? Like, it's literally fulfilling your wishes. It's everything you ever wanted. How the fuck do you improve on that? And the answer is because the 9s are all about you reaching a stage of completion, of integration, of wholeness in yourself to provide everything that you need for yourself. So here it talks about you making yourself emotionally happy, you know, being able to fill your own cup, all that sort of thing. The 9 of Pentacles talks about self-sufficiency in the material sense. Yeah, you're looking after yourself, you're doing these things. What is screamingly absent when you look at the cards in this light is any notion of codependency, is any notion of requiring validation externally for what you are, you know. You do not validate your existence off the back of somebody else, as somebody else's input to you. You're doing it all by yourself. And this is a level of completion that absolutely marks a leveling up, right? In soul growth and in growth as a human being altogether, right? So here we have this 9 of Pentacles, and this is you not being dependent on anyone else. And look at the energy that's being radiated off these 2 cards. Contentment. You know, this woman's standing up really tall, you know. I am here. This is me. This is cool. The thing is, once you start giving off these kind of energies, then you start attracting things that are giving off similar kind of energies to you, right? If you're sat in a state of fear all the time, if you're sat in a state of, you know, needing another person to validate your existence, right? You're hanging all of your happiness on your ability to make them happy. What you attract into you is the kind of people who require somebody else to make them feel happy with themselves, to validate their existence, because they're basically an empty fucking shell inside and they cannot do it for themselves. And rather than doing what you've done, and that is going out and looking for somebody that they can try and make happy, they sit there waiting for someone to come to them to make them be happy. You know, it's classic kind of narcissist people pleaser coupling that happens all the time, because they attract each other because they're actually vibrating at very similar frequencies, right? This This is something completely different. This is next level shit, right? And this is where you are putting yourself. This is where you're going towards the end of March. It's kind of a natural follow-on from this energy here. And then we've got the Fool, right? It's a card of Aries, may or may not be important. Should just mention Magician's a card of Gemini. But this is uncharted territory. And the reason that this is uncharted territory and a new start and all that kind of thing is because you are moving forwards, right? Even if you're not getting a new job, even if you're not, you know, moving house, even if you are not, you know, going traveling for a year, something like that, you know, some sort of major upheaval, some sort of major life shift. Even if you're not doing that, going to the same old job that you've always done, right, with this energy is new. You know, going to train at the gym with this energy is new. Going out with your friends with this energy is new. Meeting a new person with this energy is new. This is all uncharted territory because this is you leveling up. This is you being in a place, in a mental place, in an emotional place that you have never been before. And you are able to move forwards with a lightness of spirit because you've dropped all the fucking baggage, right? All of the things that were causing you to do the overthinking and the, you know, all that sort of thing, gone, right? Sloughed off. And you are approaching life in a whole new way. I'm not just going to pull another card because, like, tell me about the Fool. Temperance at the bottom of the deck. Now, if you're dealing with a Sagittarius, like, I feel like this Saggy has, even all the overthinking and all that kind of thing, right? What they did was they triggered a response in you, right? A desire to level up. And we've got the Sun directly underneath that, right? There's been a desire to level up. There's been a desire to raise your vibration. Maybe there's been a desire to you know, match the level that they're working at. But it might not be. If it's not a Sagittarius, then it is literally just utilizing Sagittarian energy and healing yourself from within. But the amazing thing about that is once you do that, then like lighting a beacon, you call these people to you. Now, the two clarifiers that we've got are the Page of Swords and the Four of Wands. Right? The Page of Swords is a messenger, often. It could be a young air sign, so that's Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. Could be, you know, them coming in to see you. But it's usually news. The Page of Swords. Knight of Cups now at the bottom of the deck. Two Wands now. The Page of Swords is one of the court cards across all of the decks that I own that varies wildly from deck to deck, right? The others are all more or less the same, right? You can absolutely spot the King and Queen of Wands as opposed to the King and Queen of Cups, right? Because they look very similar. The Page of Swords usually contains a lot of nuance, and it's quite different from deck to deck. And as I see it here, it seems to be moving forwards with a new truth, right? Because it's clarifying the Fool. It's having a little look back because I feel like it's kind of acknowledging how far you've come, right? The only swords cards that we've got here on the table at all is the one sword that's in the Magician card, which is an ace, you know, and being used for a really powerful purpose, and the one that's here in the page's hand, and this too is an Ace of Swords. This is a new truth. This is a new understanding. This is a new clarity of thought, right, about the way that you're progressing, and it's coming out to to clarify this new start, this new way of doing things. I think that you're having a look back because you're almost in a state of some disbelief about how far you've come in such a short time, because you've lived your entire life, I think, with all of this stuff rumbling along underneath, and then suddenly, you just either met a person that triggers a desired change in you, or you just realised that you've had fucking enough of living like that and you want to do it differently. Right? Looking back to see how far you've come. Because I think the transition has actually happened very swiftly, and it's maybe something that hasn't quite bedded itself down in your mind entirely yet. You've made all of these changes and it's having this ripple effect out, but it's still taking a little while to intellectually process the difference in where you are. But being page level, it's a new start, right? It's a new way of thinking about things, and it's the right way this time because you've got this ace, right? And then you've got the Four of Wands, which has lots of different, connotations, but ultimately it's a celebration, right? It talks of home, it talks of those people who feel like home to us, but it is a celebration. Sometimes it's the wedding card. Just saying. But there's a sense of you moving forwards with a new purpose and celebrating yourself now, instead of giving yourself a fucking hard time all the time. You've found things to be joyful about you. The one thing that I don't think you ever thought that you would be joyful about. There's a sense of you really being kind to yourself. Maybe even starting to like yourself somewhat. And it's clarified by these two cards. We've got the Five of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. Now, second time we've seen the Five of Pentacles. This fear of abandonment, this fear of lack, this fear of being left out in the cold, this fear about not being enough all the time, like you've let it go, truly, in the most profound way possible. It might be that your brain hasn't quite caught up with it yet, right? The new patterns of thinking are not entirely established, entirely bedded in yet, but this is gone. Right? This is going away now, and what's happening is you've come to a crossroads, and now there's maybe a bit of a need to redefine the parameters of what you considered possible in your life, right? Because as a Taurus, you probably had a fairly, set idea of where you were going, because you're an Earth sign as well. Step to progression, you're a fixed Earth sign, so you know where you've been, you know where you're going, but now you're more about where you are here, right? And you're more about kind of learning about yourself. And it's changed everything in front of you, which is exactly what it should do. And now you're being called to make new decisions in the light of this new information that you hold in your head. Like this chap is literally holding the globe in his hand, like the world is his oyster. Right? You can do effectively anything you fucking want. You're only limited by your own imagination. It's truly exciting. Get some cards of advice. Oh, do I want to... Give me one more card for the Fool. Deck. I'll use this one. Okay. Right. Yeah, so at the bottom of this deck now, we've got the Seven of Pentacles, the sit rep card. You know, what are my circumstances right now? What do I want to change? What do I want to continue investing in? You know, like, how am I going to change the direction of my life? Directly underneath that, we've got the Mage, which is the Magician in the standard deck, right? You now have the capacity to change this Seven of Pentacles in any fucking way that you please. And directly underneath that, we've got the Hanged One, because you have changed your perspective. You know, maybe there is very little in your life that has changed in a way that you could, you know, point out to people. What shifted is your perspective, and that's so much more powerful, right? Because now you're not looking at where you're trapped, you're looking at where you're free, you're looking at where you can expand, you know. And now the Swords energy that we have is the really, really useful one. Yeah. It's the taking a break, it's the standing back and having a look, right? Not necessarily needing to forge forwards at the moment, because you are present right here, right now. Yeah? I cackled because the Wheel of Fortune came out again. The Sagittarian energy again. Things are going to improve now, whether you like it or not. And they're going to improve because you've changed your perspective, you've changed your vibration, and you are now, you know, fucking Four of Wands at the bottom of this deck that I just picked up as well, followed by the Nine of Cups, followed by the Knight of Wands. You're getting very clear about what you want. You're getting very clear about your own abilities. You're getting very clear about the fact that you don't have to be limited. You don't have to sit in this, you know, dark, unpleasant places, you know, where Taurians find themselves late at night. You know? You don't need to find someone to validate your existence, because you're a whole fucking person all by yourself, right? And all of this stuff, the cumulative effect of all of these revelations that you've had, all of these epiphanies, is that you've lit a beacon, right? People are going to come and find you, those people that are resonating at your frequency, and things are about to improve, right? You're going to see external, the external ripple effect of what's been going on with you internally. Okay? Give me 3 cards of advice for Taurus, please. 3 cards of advice for Taurus. All right. The first card you've got is the Lovers. And that can be, you know, as it sounds, could be the Lovers. Particularly when we've had things like the Two of Cups out, which we have. You know, the Wheel of Fortune being there with that also. And actually that as well. To be fair, this could be a relationship. We could be talking about a relationship. And if it is, I feel like it's perhaps going to progress a little bit further than it has. I mean, maybe it's still very much in its infancy. Things are going to step up. But if it's more of an established relationship already, if this is soulmate that you've been knocking around for quite a while, then maybe you know, expect it to kind of elevate a little higher, than it has done before. You know, escalate the relationship in some way. It's also the card of Gemini. So that's 2 Gemini cards we've got on the table now. The next card you've got is the Tower. That's the card of Scorpio. And ordinarily, you know, people would just be like, but it's an advice card, right? And I feel like it's really quite profound, because whether you realize it or not, like what you've done here in this is epic Tower territory, right? Because you've torn down established structures in your head. You've torn down those ways of thinking that you have labored under for possibly decades and decades of your life. So now it's time to rebuild. And I feel like there's a call for you to be gentle with yourself during the rebuilding period. Because, I mean, let's face it, actually, Taurians quite like building, right? That's what it is. But don't fret too much about the fact that that there's a level of instability at the moment, because like I said, things are still bedding in, right? You're not quite there yet. And there might be times where you have a little bit of a wobble, but acknowledge it for what it is. You know, acknowledge it for being a wobble. Yeah, be logical about it. Don't get like overwrought with emotion about the situation. Look at it logically, look at it rationally, see how far you've come, right? This is a leap up from the page here now, right? But this queen, she knows what the crack is. Yeah. And if you feel yourself wobbling, consider the reasons why you needed to pull the tower down in the first place. Consider the reasons, you know, that brought you to where you were. Consider how debilitating where you were was compared to where you are now. And also consider the fact that you really like building things because, you know, you're Taurus, and that's it comes naturally to you. The final card of advice that you've got, I'm seeing if there are any more clarifiers, but they don't want to give me some, so we'll go with this. The final card of advice you've got is the Five of Swords, right? Well, that's a bit of a bleak card. It's even more bleak when you consider what's come out to clarify it, right? Except that it's not. Right? It's a reminder, right? It's a reminder to keep on breaking communication with the swords that wound you, right? And you know what they are personally to you. Maybe they are, you know, crappy relationships that you've had with people where you were mistreated. Maybe it goes back further than that. Maybe it's stuff from your childhood. You know, we all repeat patterns from our childhood, right? But continue the work of breaking that communication between your heart and these shitty experiences, right? Let your heart heal and stop letting that negative vibe there kind of get on top of you, because it's a process and we all suffer from it, you know, at times. There are times where you think you completely let something go and then it'll just broadside you. Somebody will do something that you're not expecting and suddenly you're reacting to what happened before, not what's happening this time, because that wound is still there, that trigger is still there. Like, the healing process is not yet complete. It's a continual thing. I'm saying to someone once, like, you know, your recovery is not linear. It looks like this, and then sometimes you go back a little bit and then you come back this way. You know, the key is to be patient with yourself. The key is to be kind to yourself. The key is to let it happen, right? And just know that what's coming is absolutely worth it. The key is knowing when that voice starts speaking to you. If it hurts your heart, it's not your intuition, right? If it makes you feel shit about yourself, it's not your intuition, right? That's this nasty ass fucking Five of Swords energy trying to wheedle its way back in. You are undergoing, you know, not only a reprogramming of your brain, but of your soul as well, right? You've done so much work. Beware slipping back, right? Because it's going to happen occasionally. Recognize it for what it is, and then stop it, right? Just let it go. So, Taurus, I'm going to leave it there. As ever, if the message resonated, I would love it if you liked the video. Consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber already. And just like another massive thank you, because Taurus, you've just been fucking mint. And, you know, from one fixed sign to another, I love you so much. And, you know, just as an extra added thing, like as a personal thing, I've had a lot of issue with Taurus energy over my life. Like, I won't go into details, but generally speaking, I've always been slightly afraid of Taurus as a sign because you have a particular energy that wounds me quite badly, going back from the past. And I feel like the relationship that I built up with you lot, okay, and the fact that you've been my staunchest supporters and stuff has gone some way to really scrubbing away that response in me now, because I just fucking love you all and I think you're mint. And for a very long time I swerved Taurus very, very fucking hard, and, you know, to that end you have kind of helped me level up in some ways as well, and I am eternally grateful for that too. So, yeah, special little sunbeams. I'm really pleased about this. Like, this is progress. This is good. But go make yourself a cup of coffee, you know, pat yourself on the back. You're awesome. And I'll see you in about 10-12 days for the April monthly readings. All right, take care.